Good day, good evening, good day or day, whenever you, what's up to you. I hope you, whenever you see this video, hope you're having a pleasant day. I'm hanging in there myself. In this video I'm about to show you, it's a very controversial video. I have made a topic about 3 or 4 times on this topic. It's on a social matter. The social matter is that interracial couples. I mean, I don't know how you feel about it. Whether you're a man or woman. There's various different opinions, and we're gonna hear different opinions of the reality of any other side. I made good video about it, but you gotta see why the other side feels the way that they do when it comes to black people. How some black people, why they don't feel like other people, like white people and other people, do not agree with this relationship. Why it's a big deal, and is it a trend, or if it's something that, if it's really love, or is it just a fetish? In this video I'm about to show you, men and women, black men and black women. So it's going to be on an equal basis. Let's start with the men.
They love your body, but where were they when you were being lynched? They love your culture, but where were they when your communities were being burned? They love your strength, but where were they when your children were being shot in the streets? Let me tell you exactly what is happening right now on social media and who benefits from this performance. You think this is love. You think this is acceptance. You think this is progress. I am here to tell you that this is a business model. This is content. This is fetish, wrapped in fake acceptance and sold to you as liberation. White women are flooding TikTok, YouTube, Instagram with videos gushing about how much they love black men. They are getting millions of views, millions of likes, millions of dollars. And black men are eating it up like starving children finally getting a crumb of validation from the master's table. I see you. I see the comments. Oh yeah, finally they see our value. Oh yeah, now they appreciate us. Oh yeah, it is about time they recognize. No. Stop right there. Stop right there. This is not new. This is not love. This is not liberation. This is the oldest trap in the book, and you are walking straight into it with your chest out and your guard down. Where were these white women when Emmett Till was murdered for allegedly flirting with a white woman? Where were they during Jim Crow when loving a black man could get both of you killed? Where were they when your grandfathers were being castrated and hung from trees? Where were they when your fathers were being locked up in mass incarceration? Where were they last year when another black man was shot in the street and the video went viral? They were silent. But now that loving black men gets views, now that dating black men is trendy, now that black culture is profitable, suddenly they cannot stop talking about how much they love you. Let me tell you what this really is. This is exploitation. This is fetishization. This is colonization, wearing the mask of attraction. I am not here to make anyone comfortable. I am here to speak truth. This message is for my black brothers who are falling for this trap. This message is for white women who think praise is the same as partnership. And this message is for anyone who has eyes to see and ears to hear. By the end of this video, you will never look at these I love black men videos the same way again. And that is exactly what needs to happen, because your dignity depends on it. Your legacy depends on it. Your children's future depends on it. So buckle up. This is going to be confrontational. This is going to be uncomfortable. And this is going to be true. Let us begin. Listen carefully to the language these women are using in their videos. Dangerous, exotic, dominant, well-endowed, strong, protective. Do you hear it? They are not describing human beings. They are describing fantasies. They are describing objects. They are describing slaves on an auction block being evaluated for breeding. One white woman in a viral video says, "Black men appreciate curves more than white men." Another says she loves how dangerous black men are. Another talks about their dominance in the bedroom. Another admits she only dates black guys because they are sexier than white guys. Another goes on and on about the energy, the culture, the style, the haircuts, the music, the language. She is treating blackness like a menu at a restaurant. Pick and choose what you like. Consume it. Move on. This is the same language slave masters used to justify breeding programs during slavery. The same language used to criminalize black men as sexual threats during Jim Crow. The same language used to create the myth of the dangerous black male that justified lynching for over a century. You are not an object. You are not a fetish. You are not a fantasy to be consumed for someone else's entertainment or validation. Proverbs chapter 6 verse 25 warns, "Do not lust in your heart after her beauty, or let her captivate you with her eyes." Now flip that warning. You are being lusted after, not loved, not valued, not respected, lusted after. Your body is being objectified. Your culture is being consumed. Your identity is being fetishized. And you are supposed to smile and say thank you because at least someone wants you. No. That is slavery mentality. That is colonized thinking. You are a human being made in the image of God according to Genesis chapter 1 verse 27. You deserve to be loved for your full humanity, not reduced to a list of physical and cultural stereotypes. Now let us talk about the view count. These I Love Black Men videos are getting millions of views. Why? Because controversy sells. Because fetishizing black men is profitable on social media. The algorithm rewards provocative, interracial content. It pushes it to the top. It spreads it wide. And these creators know it. One creator admitted in his video that this is becoming a movement. But let me ask you this. Is it love or is it a trend? Is it genuine or is it content strategy? When loving black men becomes a brand, when it becomes a way to get clicks and likes and subscribers and ad revenue, you are not a person anymore. You are a product. You are a commodity being sold to an audience hungry for racial drama and sexual intrigue. Think about it. A white woman makes a video titled, "I Love Black Men." She talks about all the reasons, most of them physical or cultural stereotypes. The video goes viral. She gets hundreds of thousands of views. She gets sponsorship deals. She gets paid. What does the black man in the video get? He gets used. He gets fetishized. He gets turned into content. And when the trend dies, when loving black men is no longer fashionable, where will she be? On to the next trend. But you are still black. You are still dealing with racism. You are still fighting for dignity. She got paid. You got played. Follow the money. These platforms pay creators based on views and engagement. Interracial content, especially involving black men and white women, generates massive engagement. Comments, arguing, people sharing, people debating. Every single one of those interactions is money in someone's pocket. And it is not your pocket. You are the content, not the beneficiary. James chapter 4 verse 4 says, "Friendship with the world is enmity with God." The world system profits from your oppression, and now it profits from your fetishization. Do not be fooled. Now let me show you the third piece of evidence. These women love black men. But where are they when black communities need support? Show me their voting records. Show me their policy positions. Show me their voices during racial injustice. Show me them correcting their racist family members at Thanksgiving dinner. Show me them donating to black schools, black businesses, black causes. I will wait. One creator in a video asked the hard questions. Are you standing up when black people are disrespected? Are you correcting your family when they make racist jokes? Are you supporting black communities economically, politically, socially? Are you lifting up black women or competing with them? These are the questions that reveal the truth. Love is not just words. Love is action. 1 John chapter 3 verse 18 tells us, "Let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth." Do you know the story of Carolyn Bryant? She was the white woman who accused Emmett Till, a 14-year-old black boy, of whistling at her and making advances toward her. That accusation led to Emmett being kidnapped, tortured, mutilated, and murdered in 1955. Decades later, she admitted she lied. She lied, and a child died. That is the historical pattern. White women who loved black men in private, but destroyed them in public to protect their own reputation and safety. This is not ancient history. This is generational trauma that black men still carry. So when I see these videos of white women proclaiming their love for black men, I do not see progress. I see a pattern, and the pattern says they love you when it is convenient, when it is profitable, when it is safe. But when it costs them something, when it threatens their privilege, when it requires sacrifice, they disappear. That is not love. That is performance. The fourth piece of evidence comes straight from Scripture. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 warns, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers." Now before you misunderstand, this is not just about religious faith. This is about shared values, shared struggle, shared commitment. The question is not, can a black man date a white woman? The question is, are you equally yoked? Do you share the same commitment to justice? Do you carry the same burden? Do you fight the same fight? Proverbs chapter 31 describes a woman of valor, a woman of strength and character. Does she stand with you in the struggle, or does she use you for her image? Does she sacrifice her privilege to walk beside you, or does she benefit from your oppression while claiming to love you? God warns throughout Scripture about partnerships that look good on the surface, but destroy you from within. The Israelites were warned about mixing with nations that did not serve God. The issue was not race. The issue was allegiance. The issue was, who do they serve? So I ask you, do these women making viral videos serve your liberation or their validation? Do they serve justice or their own social media brand? Do they serve God's truth or the algorithm's profit? Think carefully before you answer, because your soul depends on getting this right. Pause and let that sink in. This is not about hating white women. This is not about forbidding interracial relationships. This is about discernment. This is about protecting yourself from being used, being fetishized, being turned into a commodity. You are a king. You are made in the image of the Most High God. And kings do not settle for anything less than genuine love, genuine respect, genuine partnership. But it gets deeper. Let me show you the historical pattern that proves this is not new. Let me show you that what is happening right now on social media is just the latest chapter in a very old story. During slavery, white women were fascinated by black men's bodies. The slave system created myths about black sexuality, black strength, black physicality. They called it the Mandingo myth. The idea that black men were hypersexual, physically superior, dangerous, and exotic. Sound familiar? That is the exact same language these viral videos are using today. They wanted your body then for breeding, for labor, for profit. What makes you think it is different now? Thomas Jefferson, founding father, enslaved over 600 people. One of them was Sally Hemings. She was 14 years old when Jefferson began raping her. But history calls it a relationship. History romanticizes it. They had children together, the historians say, as if a teenage enslaved girl could consent to the man who owned her. That was not love. That was ownership disguised as relationship. That was exploitation wrapped in the language of affection. Slave masters desired black bodies while simultaneously declaring black people inferior. They wanted black women for sexual exploitation and black men for breeding strong slaves to work the fields. The same people who said black people were subhuman were sleeping with them, producing children with them, obsessing over their physical attributes. Do you see the contradiction? They created a system where black bodies were desired, but black humanity was denied. Your body was valuable. Your personhood was worthless. Now fast forward to today. White society says black culture is cool, black music is trendy, black fashion is fire, black men are sexy, but black lives, black communities, black struggles, black pain, those are ignored. They want your culture but not your burden. They want your body but not your liberation. They want to consume blackness without carrying the cost of blackness. That is modern colonization. The Bible describes the beloved in Song of Solomon. Chapter 1 verse 5 says, I am black and beautiful, not black, but beautiful. Black and beautiful. The two are not contradictory, but white supremacy taught the world that black was ugly, dangerous, inferior, except when it was useful, except when they needed your labor, except when they desired your body. Then suddenly black was valuable, but only your body, never your humanity, never your dignity, never your freedom. Let me take you to the Jim Crow era. This is when the lynching of black men reached epidemic levels in America. Over 4,000 recorded lynchings between 1,877 and 1,950. The majority of victims were black men. And do you know what the most common accusation was? That a black man looked at, spoke to, or touched a white woman, even when it was consensual, even when the white woman initiated, even when it was completely fabricated. The accusation alone was a death sentence. Emmett Till, say his name. Emmett Till was 14 years old in 1955 when he visited Mississippi from Chicago. He allegedly whistled at a white woman named Carolyn Bryant in her family's grocery store. Days later, her husband and brother-in-law kidnapped Emmett from his great-uncle's house in the middle of the night. They tortured him. They beat him. They gouged out his eye. They shot him in the head. They tied a cotton gin fan to his neck with barbed wire and threw his body in a river. His mother, Mamie Till, insisted on an open casket funeral. She said, "Let the world see what they did to my boy." And the world saw a child brutalized beyond recognition because of a white woman's accusation. The men who killed him were acquitted by an all-white jury. Later, they admitted to the murder in a magazine interview. They were paid for that interview. They profited from murdering a child. And Carolyn Bryant, decades later in 2017, admitted to a historian that she lied. She made it up. Emmett never touched her, never harassed her. She lied. And that lie cost a 14-year-old boy his life. That is the pattern. White women desired black men in secret, but accused them in public to protect their reputation. The same lips that said "I love you" said he raped me when it was convenient. The same hands that touched you in private pointed at you in public to have you killed. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verses 16 through 19, says that a false witness should suffer the same punishment they intended for the accused. Carolyn Bryant should have been hung for her false witness, but she lived a long, free life while Emmett Till rotted in a grave. That is not justice. That is not love. That is the pattern. The Rosewood Massacre in 1923. A white woman named Fannie Taylor claimed a black man attacked her. There was no evidence. There was no proof. Just her word. And that word led to white mobs burning the entire black town of Rosewood, Florida to the ground. They killed dozens of black people. They drove hundreds more from their homes. The town ceased to exist, all because of one white woman's lie. The Tulsa Race Massacre in 1921. A young black man named Dick Rowland was accused of assaulting a white woman named Sarah Page in an elevator. The accusation was almost certainly false, but it did not matter. White mobs invaded the Greenwood district, known as Black Wall Street, the wealthiest black community in America at the time. They burned over 1,000 homes. They burned businesses, churches, schools, hospitals. They dropped bombs from airplanes on black neighborhoods. They killed an estimated 300 black people. They destroyed 35 blocks of black prosperity, all because of an accusation involving a white woman. Do you see the pattern? When it was convenient, they loved you. When it was dangerous for them, they killed you. The same society that desired black bodies also destroyed black lives to protect white women's honor. And those white women, whether their accusations were true or false, Whether they initiated the relationship or not, they stayed silent. They let black men burn. They let black men hang. They let black communities be massacred. And they walked away with their lives, their freedom, their privilege intact. History does not lie. And this pattern is not ancient history. This is generational trauma that black men still carry. This is why I am warning you about these viral videos. This is why I am telling you to be careful, to be discerning, to demand more than words and views and viral moments. Because the pattern says they love you when it benefits them, and they destroy you when it costs them. Now let us move to this.
Whoa. That's true. That's why I said, know the character. Not tell black men not the color. Black women too, know the character, not the color. Here, I'm going to show you in present day. Shout out to AC.
This story really hurts me to my heart. A beautiful soul. She was not protected at all. She filed a restraining order October 5th. October 5th. And here it is, November. He shouldn't have been let out of jail. I really feel that the judge here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, they failed her. He already had restraining orders against him out of town from other women. He shouldn't have even been out of jail. It's all who you know. Your family got money, somebody got a little pull, you get a slap on the wrist. And this young lady has lost her life and left her family here in pain because nothing was done. It's not enough sometimes. These women are not being protected.
And what's even worse is that this man had 6 out-of-state protective orders already. Stacy went to the police to file a complaint. She filed a domestic complaint. He was put in jail, but he bonded out with $2,500. At what point is enough? 6 domestic protective orders against him from out of state. Why was he out of jail? Why was he on the streets?
Would have thought with the history that Stephen already had, the judge would have gave him hell for it and locked him up and threw away the key. But guess what? The judge never did. In fact, the judge ended up overlooking all of his prior history and just said, yeah, matter of fact, we just gonna let you post bond for $2,500 and I'm gonna give you a restraining order for you to stay away from Stacey.
Also had 6 other protection orders from women in other states. The police will not save you. An order of protection will not preserve you. You must leave at the first red flag, and I think it's also time that a lot of us accept that we don't need to be dating. We are truly in perilous and wicked times. Black women, you need to learn radical self-love and self-preservation, especially right now. Rest in peace to Stacey Charles, aged 23.
Not one time did they say anything about this. Black men, I watched 10 clips. 10 clips. 10 clips from these Keishas talking about the situation, and not one time did they mention these tweets from her. And if they really cared about black women, this would have been part of their message. The message would have been, stop, looking at Brad, Hector, or anything other than black men. Stop looking at them like they're saviors or they're perfect or, there's nothing wrong with them just because they're a Brad or a Hector. Vet them also. See if they have any felonies. Do them like you do these black males. See if they have any felonies, if they have any baby mothers, if they have any violent history. Do that to them. It might save your life. Do that. Not out of all those clips I watched, not one of them said, hey, this right here is problematic. Not one of them said, send a Brad my way. Look, she said, send a Brad my way. It's not problematic. She didn't say send a Brad my way that's family oriented, that has goals, ambition, not a criminal. Just send any Brad. Do what any Brad, doesn't matter. Cause this is her. She really want N-words to leave her alone. And this right here is problematic in itself. I would love to live like a white person in New Orleans to make the city look so not dirty. First of all, I know, I hear people say, and from New Orleans, I say New Orleans. Some people say New Orleans, but I heard the people that live, they say New Orleans. New Orleans. Not even New Orleans. New Orleans. but still, this is crazy. This is crazy right here. This is crazy. Because we see this happen so many times. We see this happen so many times, right? And in these instances where you got a Brad who does something to a Keisha, right? What ends up happening is you notice that in the background, in the past, they have tweets up saying things like this. They don't want no N-words. They're tired of dealing with the color. We saw that. And then after that, you see them deal with a Brad, and the Brad sends him to the upper room, and the police does nothing about it. The system does nothing about it. How many times do we hit? The last time, and not the last time it happened, the last time it went viral. And you know what's funny? This is not even viral. This right here is not viral. This is not viral. I had to find those clips. There clips out there, but when you look at the views on those clips, 100, 200, 300, maybe 1,000. This is not viral. The last viral situation that we saw was her. By the way, this is the bottom part of that tweet. I was looking at the video and noticed that you couldn't see the bottom. This is the bottom part of that.
That's AC's version of it. Now I'm going to take you to a woman's version of it. Just to be fair.
So I'm just getting home from a happy hour in the West Loop, and every single black man we saw tonight, we saw like 10 plus men. Every single last one of them was with a non-black woman, like every single one. And I wasn't gonna bring it up until we got to the second bar, and my friend who I'm with, black man from Atlanta, he was like, what is going on? Like, where are we?
Asian, Latina? No, but white girls is off.
Yo, I finally see why black men love those snow buddies, cause them bitches gonna treat you like a king, bro. They don't care if you look dusty, don't got a job, don't got a house, don't got a crib. Them bitches still gonna love you regardless.
My son is in love with white women. Yep, I said it. And the crazy part about it is, he only 10 years old. Yes, 10 years old.
Black men, without blaming black women, what is the reason for you exclusively dating outside of your race? And just so we clear, this is no critique or criticism towards interracial dating. I'm merely asking the question about why certain people only like to date outside their race. Black men, without blaming black women, why do you exclusively date outside of your race? Questions that need answers.
Why are many black men choosing white women?
Hi everyone, welcome back to Unfiltered for You Stories. So today we are diving into this hot topic, but before we start, I want to make one thing absolutely clear. This video is not about attacking anyone, defending anyone, or creating division. My goal is to respond to ideas, claims, and experiences that people share online. So relationships are complex, race is complex, social dynamics are also complex. And when TikTok tries to simplify these things into a few clips, you already know it gets heated. I'm going to react to these TikToks, break down the argument, maybe challenge some stereotypes, and offer some perspective according to history, culture, and real world context. So this is a conversation, not a battlefield. And before we jump into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and give your thoughts in the comments. So let's get into it.
Priorities. I would argue the reason black men marry white women is because they wish they were white themselves, and having the white man's prize, his queen, is a psychological symbol to myself that I am equal to him. So you can't be in love with white women and not at the same time feel inferior to white males.
You know, it's interesting. I like what you said about it is a political.
You can't separate love from politics. Love is the most political thing, just like we try to separate religion.
But do you feel like I used to date nothing but white girls in high school because I remember being told I was blackish and ugly by black girls. So then when I dated the white girls, you know what they told me? I was a sellout for dating the white girls. But hold on, the white girl told me my skin color was pretty. It looked like chocolate to her. To you, it was ugly and it looked dirty. And you black like me. Then I got to college. I said, okay, I found black women attractive. There was a whole lot of them downtown Atlanta. So I remember walking up to this black girl who was walking at about little 5 points. I walked behind her and I said, excuse me, miss, because I thought I could talk to black girls the way I talk to white girls. Be really nice and friendly and cordial to them. I said, excuse me, miss. She didn't say anything. I thought, she must couldn't hear me. I said, excuse me, miss. She stopped, turned around, and did me like this. I know you didn't, and walked off.
So I've seen a bunch of videos of like people trying to figure out why so many black men date white women. And you've seen those men talking about, I date white women because black women's attitude or whatever kind of stupid shit they want to talk about. But there's only actually one real answer for this, and let me explain to you, let me tell y'all what it is. A lot of black men date white women because there's more of them. We're men. We don't have standards. We like who like us. For example, let's say you a woman, right? You take a woman and you put her in a room full of 100 men that will definitely sleep with her, and if none of those men are her type, she won't sleep with any of them. You take a man, put him in a room full of 100 women, and if none of those, and all those women will sleep with him, if none of those women are his type, he's gonna sleep with all of them. You take the most racist white man you've ever seen in your entire life and drop him in a tribe in Africa. In 3 years, he will come out with mixed kids. The U.S. population, 7.8% is black women, 30% are white women, which means you're a little more than 4 times more likely to run into a white woman than a black woman in the United States. And then if you want to add, a lot of black people tend to live in certain areas. Like, y'all have given men way too much credit about why they date certain type of women. They date those women because that's the women they can get. Like, men for real, and I know I'm generalizing, but I feel like this is the one time where it's okay. Men really don't have standards like that. If you're pretty and you're a girl, with men you got a shot.
Talk to me about dating white women or just white women and black men.
Don't nobody love a nigga that come from a single parent home with his bullshitting flaws like a white woman who really love niggas. See, the black woman, when she realize mama right, she ain't gonna let you come in and run her household because her mama done already warned her about you nigga. So most black women left mama's house and disappointed mama with the type of man mama warned her about. So she ain't never going back to mama's house. She gonna stay on her own. White women are willing to lose inheritance to stay with a nigga. Family be ready to disown him. Daddy be ready to disown him. The black woman ain't finna lose her Section 8 for your ass, let alone her inheritance. So when you find something across the railroad track that's opposite of you and it really love you, you know what it took to love you, nigga? It's easy for a black woman to love you.
Somebody please tell Dr. Umar Johnson
that black men in the UK are not going to be listening to his advice or his way of life when he's telling them to stay away from white women and to stick to black women. That is not going to happen. Black men in the UK are heavily dependent on the economic security that white women provide. Black men in the UK get into relationships with women. I'm talking about adult men, not teenagers who still live at their mum's house and don't have life pressures on them. I'm talking about adult black men in the UK get into relationships with women to find a place to live for free and to find a place where they haven't got to pay bills. That's why black men in the UK are in relationships with white women on mass amounts, on mass levels. Because white women will lie and do benefits fraud to basically allow her man to live with her for very long periods of time, 10, 15, 20 years, where he doesn't have to pay any bills and he doesn't have any big financial commitments. Black women are not having it. I'm telling you, as somebody that's been with black girl after black girl after black bro, I've been in relationships. My relationships have all been with black women. They're not allowed. They cannot respect a man. They cannot respect a black man. They cannot consistently have sex with a black man. They cannot love a black man. They cannot talk to a black man nicely. If he's had to move into her life and she's had to provide security for him, it will run out very quickly. He won't get longer than 12 months in that kind of situation. So when Dr. Umar Johnson is saying to black men, you need to stick with black women, he needs to go beneath the layer and start talking about black men's mentality and black men's attitude towards economics and towards family economics, basically. Man them get money, they buy loads of trainers, they buy loads of designer clothes, they go on holidays, they go to restaurants, they rent cars, they finance cars, they cheat on their girls by booking hotels and all of that. They spend their money like that, but they ain't spending no money on owning, possessing and maintaining a house in the UK. And because they're not doing that, they need white women. Do you understand what I mean? So I go on American social media, I follow a lot of black content creators in America, and I realize that a lot of black men in America, I don't know about in New York or in LA, but a lot of black men in different parts of America have houses, bro. That's part of their pride as a man, as it should be, to have your own house, to maintain your own house, and to fall in love with a woman that can walk into your security and you can provide for her. She doesn't have to worry about paying bills or how the house is maintained. That's what a lot of black men in America are on. In the UK, you must be joking. Black men are not. No way.
Get mad at me for dating outside my race, but I was dating outside of my race because they was doing things better than my race. I'm gonna keep one. My Spanish. Well, not better. Because I know where she getting ready to go. Not better.
I know, you said they were doing things better. I want to know what better meant.
Not better. I'm going to change that.
I'm trying to save you for the
I know
people,
you is.
for
That's
the
what I'm
culture.
saying. Not better. For the culture.
There we go.
Right. Not better. I was dating Puerto Rican. I was dating Dominican. I was dating African. I was dating all type of other really size American black. Right? They were doing way more of what we expect we want our woman to do. More than our American. Our American got real comfortable
Give me some examples.
Oh man, I mean, their mannerisms are different. Like even my Indian one was from one of them countries over there, right? I didn't have to really say much to do it, be treated like a king. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times with our own American black, they expect so much of us and what we're supposed to do. Like things like if we go out and eat and we just have a nice dinner, we can go anywhere and eat and get a nice dinner. It had to be Roux Chris, or it had to be this, that, or it had to be this, that. Then I get somebody that's just as fine, a Cuban or Colombian. They don't care about nothing. They care about you and your household. Even though they still care about the money, but it's not about the money. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's a difference. Not better. But sometimes we get tired of hearing, Birkin bags, sushi.
Do you think that's fair? Because I feel like there's a certain type of woman that does demand that. And to me, I think it depends on the bait you're using and where you're looking. If you're going to go get a model from Instagram that got the BBL, the snatched in stomach, and has all the things that check off money hungry and surface, you're going to get that. If you're going to meet a girl and through different ways and ask different questions, you're going to find that out a lot earlier on that what's important to her.
I'm not doubting that, but I'm just talking about even if you look on just a regular dating app and just look at what a woman may state that she requires. You know, I'm saying these things because it feels as if social media again is the barometer, okay, and it's the comparison, and when you're comparing yourself to all these other women, and of course, even with the BBLs, because I'm like, that's fine, but I mean,
What's BBL? I'm sorry.
Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay. And it's no shade to women that have
No,
them. I'm just saying.
wondering, I was waiting for it too. I'm like,
It's no,
excuse me?
it's no shade to everyone that has them.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying, if you're going by just surface things and that's who you're going afterwards, then guess what? She gonna run them pockets.
No, and I'm not, and I want to get your thought.
I'm gonna stop before we play the rest of this video here. The gentleman with the blue shirt on with the denim outfit, that is Gravy, aka Jamal Woolard, who used to be signed to Warner Brothers, I believe. He played Biggie in Notorious. He's now a to-be movie star, if you will, doing a bunch of movies, so he's transitioned completely to that from rapping. And he's not saying anything that a lot of brothers haven't said already. When you date women of other ethnicities, other races other than black American women, it's like easier. They're more agreeable, they're more cooperative, more submissive. It's not all about what you can do for her, even though the Western or the ways of the black American woman is very influential and is spreading throughout the world, where women are copying what it is that they're doing, which is crazy. But fellas find it's an easier time. They're shocked a lot of times about that they don't have to go through the BS. They don't have to go through you have to pay to be in a relationship with me, which is in essence what it boils down to, which is unfortunate. And on the dating apps, a lot of women are presenting themselves, this, you need to have this, you need to do this, and this. Man, listen, dating shouldn't be hard. Dating a woman shouldn't be hard. If a woman makes it difficult for you, man, peace out, bro. Peace out. Let's get back to it, though.
Join the more than 7 million adults, like Chef Franklin, who...
So basically, what I've learned from this video is that everybody have a different perspective. The beginning of this video was really interesting because there was a lot of truth in that. And I always say that when you courting somebody, being a black man, and this can be the black women, make sure you pick the character of when you find somebody of a different race. Don't just think that everybody in that race is like that one person. Let the Most High God, for some of you believe in the Most High God, show you something deeper within that person. So what I'm telling me from what I just seen this last video is that whether it's a black woman from America or whether it's a white woman from America, it sounds like the historical part about it you have to be concerned with over here in America. Dating white women just as well as being with we're going to be cautious towards black women. Because it sounds like these other women or these other places didn't cause us that trauma. But you got to look at it there too, to a certain degree. But, and I think some black men, that's why they go outside. They don't just go with white women. Even though they trying to perpetuate that is. But it's not, they're not like the hierarchy thing no more. They're going to other women. They're going to Asian women, Hispanic women. Or they get a woman similar to, not too far down the food, color change, skin complexion line. A woman look resemblance to a black woman. And nobody really gonna tell because in this Western world, there's someone of that culture is here. Nobody don't know, but when it's a white woman, it kind of triggers something. And unfortunately in this country because what the video just showed you. But when you date and marry any woman, black woman, white woman, you got to know the character of a person. But I can understand what the brother in the beginning was saying. Don't let someone fetishize you. That's why, when I would meet somebody, I wasn't fetishizing. If I dated a white woman or any other woman, it's the character of the woman. It's not because she's white. And same way I would treat her like I would treat the black woman. It's just that it's all about communication. That's all basically what it's about. And it's just sad that on both ends, black women ain't really communicating with black men, and black men ain't really communicating with black women. And I think that this is with some black men and some black women, the reason why they're not really seeing eye to eye is because they're not really communicating well, and then the perception on both ends. So it's really that's what basically about. So to answer the age-old question, why is it that black women is because what he just got done saying, and he just don't feel like they feel appreciated. So naturally, but at the same time, as black men, we have to be careful too that there's somebody's going to stand by you and love you for you, just like they would somebody who is close in your family is. Someone who loves you just as well as your mother, your sister, your grandma. They just love you just about as much, but in a companionship way. But they love you. And really, it's better just to meet somebody, I learned, who match. It's good to let the Most High send them to you, because he removes all that out the way beneath the surface. But if it has happened that you do, but make sure if it is a white female, make sure you have to go deeper than the surface. You can't go by if you're a black woman or a black man. If you date a white person, you see the results. You have to go down to the character, because you see through opposition, the history in opposition. This is what black people are saying from the black person's perspective. Then it's the white people's perspective, because what their view and what they were shown about black people, that yeah, we're friends with black people, but we don't go in family. In the family, you can be like you almost close like family, but you're not married into the family. I mean, you can go right, and maybe some of you have sat down and ate dinner, but it's a little bit of the difference, because we live in a country that has a historical for what you see on that, and that's kind of in some cases, and maybe there are black and white people that don't see it that way. Maybe they somehow move past that way, but and it may be a crescent or small, but you're around, whether you're black or whether you're white, you're around the majority of people that are like this. And when that race of people move away from you, they really reveal how they really are. And if you're a white person, you know how they really feel about it, because when that black person's not in the present, you know what's coming. If you're black and you around white people, you know what it is. You know when it comes to a certain topic like this. But hey, but if you have a family that is a little bit above that, God bless you. But whether you're a black woman or a black man, when you're picking someone white from this country, that's something that America will always have that about themselves. And I would suggest this. Personally, I would leave this country as an interracial couple. Maybe go live in another country. Because you will always have that weigh in on you on different parts of America. And if you want to move on and heal and really come together, I mean, it could be, you can probably same way if it was a gay couple, whatever, you know. But now they're trying to pass the law and they're trying to revive that back. And you can always come back to America. But if I wasn't, that's what I would do. If your spouse is white, whether you're a black woman or a black man, that's what I would do in the future, because it's going to get worse in this country. They're trying to drive it back to that point. The people in this MAGA and all this stuff, that's what they're trying to do. You know, the Loving versus Virginia, they're trying to redo that. And even though they tied it up with, you know, same civil union between two men and two women, they rescind they go honestly they can rescind that, but they're also going to want to rescind interracial. So it's going to happen, you know. And I heard what this white man said, that they might make you try to, that either you do this, or how many gonna stay, are they gonna give up their privilege, like the brother said? Are they gonna give up their status to be with you as a black person? Do they love you? Do they love the core being in you, the humanity in you as a person, to stay with you in that relationship, that man or that woman? So I'm not attacking the men or attacking the women, but he does make a good point. That's why I said, anytime you pick somebody for a young black man or young black woman of a different race, and they happen to be white, this is what you have to really be thinking about that. And don't think that we shouldn't fetishize them, and they shouldn't fetishize you, because once that is removed, the reality of it is you live around it, and if you have a union with bringing in a family, children, it's going to affect in some type of way too. Or you can, and if you do it on your white side of the family, then you kind of disown your black side, and then they go through a certain, in a way, make sure you're around black people, if you will, that they will accept that your child is about, so they have a piece of identity, a part of them. You don't want to be just raised up a biracial child, a mixed race between black and white, and put them around white, because they're gonna have a mindset like them. So, and if there's not enough balance of black and white, they're gonna go through a struggle. They don't have no backup. When you're around a predominantly white, they might have one or two good friends, but among that predominantly white, someone's going to be racist. They're going to say some racist stuff to them, or they're going to get around and make, they think, well, I'm not part of them, that dark part, that black part of my family, so I can just say. And I've heard this case recently, so it's something to think about. But yeah, that's just from what I've observed. But you do what you want. You know, people gonna do what they want. But this is a topic. But think about it. But when you go with someone and happen to see the polar opposite of black or is white in this country, for some reason, it's still taboo, and it's the history of a taboo. Black people starting to see it. A segment of black people going to see this, what they see. White people see it, they see something different, because they see what black people do on the news, and some of them don't even know how they see black people, but they never really been in. They don't know how to react around you. You know, you have a different style, a different humor, and they don't know how to respond to that. And some white people, some are a little bit open to other people, but a good percentage of them really they want you to be sustaining in their culture. You know, then you have to give up, seem like a part of yourself, just to be in way of their life, their way of life, and their outlook than yours. So yeah, but then again, it might be interracial couples out there that have been married for 20, 30 years, and they had to go through some challenges, and God bless the ones that did, but they can probably tell you that, you know, what the goods are doing, what they're doing. And I think that interracial couples need to keep it real and tell them what's going to go on, especially between black men, white women, white men, and black women. Let's tell them the truth. Tell them the reality. Because, you know, how you able to get over those obstacles. Because this topic is going to come up. And how do you work around that culture? That's just the thing I want to talk about. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you like it. Give you some food for thought to think about this video. But that's my take on the video. Shout out to the content creators. And remember, don't date the person for their fetish. Date the person for what's deeper within the being of their self. Because that's going to last longer. Trust me. And that's what I've been waiting for. And hopefully, if you don't find some of your different race, then if you go outside your race, and make sure the person has the core being of humanity and the longevity and maturity. Take care, be blessed. Like, share, and subscribe. See you on the next video.